Here on Hometown Radio, WIRY, and here he is, the man of the hour, Tom Lacey.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Our guest today is Jillian Duda, and I'm sure many people know her. She's been an inspiration to so many people, including myself. And we're going to interview her, and any questions you have, please call. You can text me those questions, and I have some funny ones right off the start. I'd like to just get the mood going. You said that I gave you, Jillian, you said I gave you many yellow cards.
Yes.
Did I really?
Yes, you did.
Did you deserve them?
Yes. I take full responsibility.
That's pretty funny. I had to start out with that. It was pretty funny. But you've been such an inspiration, like I said. And first of all, what high school? You went to Seton, correct?
Yes.
Do you still stay in touch with a lot of your classmates? And
Yes. I stayed in my hometown. I went to college in Albany, but I stayed here, came back here, and I have all the same friends, basically, that I did on all of my teams from Seton. And we still go out together and go for dinner. And
how did you get so good in soccer? I mean, what made you so good? How did it start? Because you were good, and I know you're humble, and you're not even going to admit that you were good.
It all started with, I guess, putting the time in on the field. My father and mother were able to put me into all of the soccer camps and Plattsburgh State soccer camp, and I'd go to Lake Placid, Clarkson University soccer camp. I would go for a month. I'd go every 4 sessions for the 4 sessions. They would go with me to the Vermont ODP program, which is the Olympic Development Program, and I would practice there five days a week, and we would play all over Pennsylvania and play with the big dogs.
Gosh, as far as the Olympics are going, do you think that the U.S. can win the gold medal?
Not a doubt in my mind. I always have my USA team.
Okay, I have to ask you that question between Mia Hamm or Alex Morgan. Who is a better player in your opinion?
Mia Hamm.
Okay, and you also said that you met both of them. Can you talk about that?
So I got to go to Florida and play with the women's national team, the USA team, and practice on the field. And I got to meet and have a conversation with Mia Hamm and Michelle Akers. And Mia and Michelle were just 2 of the players that I basically idolized. Michelle told me, Michelle Akers, that you can teach a player ball work. You can teach a player, how to do the perfect cross, how to do the perfect penalty kick. But one thing that you cannot teach an individual is the heart. She told me you either have the heart or you don't, but that's one thing that not any coach can teach a player.
And as we know, heart goes a long way. It goes a long way. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the heart, and I know you have the heart without a doubt, which made you so good and made you such an inspiration on some of the things that are going on with you today. The one thing that I really loved that you sent to me was about your husband, John, who is a state trooper. Who I think he's going to be retiring soon, and he said he fell in love with you while you were in a wheelchair. He taught you what's on the outside and what's on the inside, and both of you have come many challenges together that most wouldn't see in their life. I think that's true love.
We all have a dream as a little girl to, get married to this knight in armor and, walk down the beautiful aisle. And, no one thinks that life can change in an instant. And my life changed. But my dream for that wedding was now a dream of how am I going to get down the aisle using 2 arm crutches instead of being in my wheelchair.
Wow. That's I like that a lot. I really do. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is the disability that you have. I have one as well, and we're both we both have heart, both of us. I think that's what, but this isn't about me. This is about you.
I've had many, many health problems all the way from, high school. I was a severe asthmatic to soccer when I played for the College of St. Rose, and then I had a heel injury. I got slide tackled from behind, and I started getting necrosis of the bone in my heel. And that pain took over a lot of my life, and I was going to college to become a special education teacher, and I had to come up with what I needed to do to make my life better and to fulfill my dream as being a teacher. And that was to get a special spinal cord placement into my spine so that I wouldn't feel the pain anymore.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, we didn't know that I had another medical condition underlying, which is Addison's disease. Addison's disease is when you are stressed, your body is stressed, you make cortisol. So cortisol is a steroid that lets your body fight. But what happened was I went into an intense surgery. I was already stressed, to say the least, going in. And what happened is that while being under for the surgery, I went into crisis. I coded. They had to bring me back to life. And then what turns out to be, I ended up with a spinal cord stroke, which left me a spastic paraplegic. And that was that. I went into the surgery thinking recovery, 2 weeks, and then back on the field. And what ended up turning out was I was laying in bed with no feeling or motion in my legs and looking at a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
So everything changed, and from that point on, I have malabsorption. I don't absorb any food. I lost all of my large intestine. I have none of that left. So I have an ileostomy now, a bag. And I've had many resection surgeries of my intestine, small intestine. During this whole thing, I had a couple lambectomies, 2 parts of my spine actually taken out. I had many emergency surgeries. I had a pulmonary embolism that I survived from Dr. Collins. He saved my life. I had seizures. I had spinal cord fluid leaks. The health, it really hasn't ever stopped. So every day is a fight.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't know all that about how bad it was, Jillian. Tell me about some of your accomplishments. I want to hear some of them. Before you start, your mom sent a text, and I'm going to read it. She said, Jill has done the Boston Marathon on a hand cycle, the Burlington Marathon in wheelchair, hand cycle, and also on hand crutches. Also has done 5 Spartan races, which is considered the toughest race. What was her race that she found the hardest, and how did she get through it? That's your mom.
Well, my mom is incorrect. It was actually 6 Spartan races, not 5. I think the biggest challenge was probably the first time doing my hand cycle, because I was not like the others and up where I used to be, standing upright. But I accomplished that, with pride and, joy, and I was happy that I was able to accomplish that. They always say that fire in your belly. And my dad would always say that, you just had that fire in your belly. And I never lost that. And so after I accomplished the hand cycling, after I actually, ran the full marathon on hand cycles, run, walk, pull myself, however I did it. I think the hardest was the running the full marathon with my forearm crutches.
Gosh.
It was just amazing. And, it was my first and last marathon that I decided. And it was perfect, because in order for me to get on that course for completing the full marathon, I was told by, the event coordinators that the only way I could get on the course standing upright would be to have someone that would be able to cycle next to me, that would be USA, given the USA certification for bikers, because of the fact that I had my IV bag, I had my IV pump, which was in my bag that I carried on my back, and it was my nutrition that was getting fed to me through my central line of my chest. So my husband went through all the steps, and it was his first marathon ever. So he got to do it on the bike, and it was my last marathon as being upright, completing the full marathon. And I'll tell you, anyone who does marathons know you go through an array of emotions. You're happy at one point, you're sad at one point, you're angry at one point, and then you hit the wall. The wall is when you don't think, it's just your body going. And I can't remember, hitting the wall. All I know is that when I came across that finish line with my husband next to me, that was a true testament.
Wow. Another great story. And again, this isn't about me, but I'm dedicating the New York City Marathon to you. You're giving me the inspiration, and I'm gonna finish. And at mile 22, I'm getting off the hand cycle that you're letting me borrow, which is so nice of you. And I'm gonna jog somehow the last 4 miles, probably 15-minute miles, but I don't care. And I'm just gonna finish, and that's an inspiration. You're the one that I'm going to dedicate that to, and I appreciate it so much. One thing you said, you also live by your grandfather saying, he would say, good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. So my father worked with my grandfather as an attorney, and they had their own, office. And my grandfather, when he would call me, he'd say, J. Marie. And I knew that was to get into his office immediately. He wanted to talk. And one thing that he said was he would be tapping his cane on the ground, and he said, he's like, good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. That basically means we are never to rest. We are never at our best. And he allowed me to push through. And he gave me that quote, which I continue to live by day by day.
I love that quote. I really do. I'm going to use it too. Although I never had a grandfather, but wow. You also said if you were given the opportunity to go back in time and not have the spinal cord stroke and be the person you were, I would take this life as I have it now, because I have learned so many valuable lessons as what is really important in life. I learned how to overcome many challenges. I learned to never throw in the towel. And also, I think I'm an inspiration to many people out there, and you are. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, I mean, basically is that my old life that I knew was great. You know, I had not a care in the world. I, got to, go and travel and play soccer and, play basketball and, play hockey and softball and do all my sports. But really in life, it's the game of life that matters. I wouldn't be the person I am today without have gone through all these obstacles and challenges.
Mm-hmm.
People look at me when I say that, and they're like, really? You wouldn't want to go back? And no, if I go back, I never would have met my husband. I never would have had our beautiful, amazing son. And I've learned so much about life and life lessons and not giving up and waking up every morning and just, thanking that when your feet, if you can feel them or not, but you can see them touch the floor, that's all that matters. The game of life is so much more important than the game of sports. And when I was in high school, my coaches, Sharon Relation for soccer, Sam Campbell basketball, Meg Connors for basketball, it was all about the game of life. I didn't know it at the time, but everything that came out of their mouths, I could use in life itself. They were lifelong lessons that have carried me through, where I am today. Even, a great friend of mine, Josh Walker, who passed away from cancer, I called him my hero, and he called me his hero. And, he passed, and it just, I just see him when I close my eyes. I can just hear him. I let him borrow my wheelchair so he could get around. So, he was able to, close it down easier. It was a sports wheelchair. And, I let them use it. And I got to see the fight that he has. And even though he had cancer and was passing, and he knew that, he still considered me his hero, his warrior. And, I always, looked at Josh as my warrior. And even though, he had so much to overcome, and it's just the love for one another, and while we were dealing with all this was just amazing. But I wouldn't give anything to go back to who I was. I'm not saying, it's, everyone sees me as that strong fighter, not giving up, not quitting, taking, my shirt off my back for others, and that endless heart. But what some don't see is the real struggle I had to go through inside to become who I am. A lot of them didn't see the inside. And it's hard. It's hard always putting on the cape and, being that superhero. And, there's just some days I had to learn that it's okay to take off the cape. It's okay to, be human and cry and show emotion. My life, I am just so blessed. The people that have touched my life, I am just so thankful for. It's just amazing, the people that have touched my life throughout all of my, things I've had to overcome, health and mentally and physically.
Can you talk about your son a little bit?
Yes. My son, his name's Connor Duda. He goes to Plattsburgh High School. He is a senior this year. He plays hockey, lacrosse, and his passion is cross-country running, which I never thought in a million years, because I wasn't a runner. But, even going back, I was still, sick with what I had. I still had the spinal cord injury, and my husband and I were told that, it's going to be really hard to get pregnant. You might not. Well, come to find out, I became pregnant, and I had to go to the high-risk clinic in Vermont, and my husband and I were both brought into a room, and we were told that we should seriously talk about, thinking about, aborting life or ending his life, because my life was on the line. They were worried about my health and me not making it and what it would do to my body. And they said for us to go home and think about it. And I remember my husband looked at me, I looked at him, and right there in the office, I said, we don't have to go home to think. I already have my decision, and I'm sure my husband thinks the same. I said, if I am to stop this life, thinking about my own life and that, I could pass away, I could have huge complications, I said, I would never know if I was able to finish. So I said to them, if something major is to happen, I know the man of my dreams, my husband, will be the best father that anyone could ever ask for. I said, I know right now that, the baby was a boy. My son was a boy. I knew he was a boy. And I said, if you don't put me on that start line, I'm not going to know if I couldn't finish. I said, so I'm going to start on the start line. And if something happens, he's got one hell of a father.
Gosh.
So I delivered him at 28 weeks. He was 2 pounds. And
kind of a miracle baby.
He is, yes, a miracle baby. He, complications. He, had to have the Nissen procedure, so because his stomach wasn't, mature enough, and he kept on throwing up. So he had the Nissen procedure, but right now he's 6'4", and he is an amazing young man.
I'd love to meet him someday. I really would. I remember seeing you on the hand crutches, when we'd be around the field house, and I would be going one way, you'd be going the other, and I'd say hello, and I was still thinking that you were so mad at me from all the cards I gave you.
No.
So, but I was inspired by that, and I would look back at you, and you kept going, and you did like 4 laps, and we'd keep seeing each other, and I really didn't know you that well, other than the card.
Yes, you did.
I hate to keep mentioning that.
Good memories.
Yeah. I can't believe I gave you a card. Gosh.
More than one, Tom. More than one. It wasn't just one.
Darn. But it sounds like your son's a great kid. Is he looking at colleges right now?
Connor is, he's more of a visual learner. And, part of that, when you're born so early, sometimes, the brain develops differently. And Connor is definitely visual, and he loves things that have motors. He loves anything that has 4 wheels, 2 wheels. He has his motorcycle. He, mows lawns for people. He's mowed lawns since he was 11. We made a little cart for the back of his bicycle, and he had one mower in it. And he would ride up and down and go mow people's lawns. But now he's bought in himself his own enclosed trailer. He's got 3 ride-on lawnmowers. He's got 4 weed whackers. He bought his own truck. He bought his own car. He did it all on his own by saving. And his just passion for anything with a motor, just like his father and his grandfather, Ed.
Another thing, talking about your son again. I'm looking forward to someday definitely meeting him. But I want to tell you about my ex-wife. Very similar to what you went through. She was pregnant. I was actually 44 years old, and she was older too. And there were major complications. I know this isn't about me, but it's very similar. And she had major complications, and we're very lucky. And they found something spilling into her vital organs, and we were in the hospital for a month, and they actually gave her her last rites, and so we have a miracle baby too as well. But 1 month in that hospital, and she was hooked up to everything and still breastfeeding, and I admire that so much from her. I just recently wrote something on Facebook because I think Facebook is kind of therapeutic for me. Maybe not for everyone, but I put a lot of things on there. It's a lot of funny stuff, but every once in a while I get serious, and I wrote about mothers. And we only get one mother in life. That's it. And mothers are the very best. They're always going to be there for you. Whether you're sick, whether you had some trouble, whether given rides to school, always being to every single event. They never will give up on you. And I put something about my mother on Facebook, it came from the heart. And the thing is, my ex-wife went through. She also doesn't have a large intestine as well. But what a tough woman she is, And I knew when the doctor came up and said how serious it was, I knew she was going to make it because she's just like you, just as tough as you. So, Doris, if you're listening, hopefully you are. This Jillian is hopefully an inspiration to you as well. So, but I love some of the accomplishments that you have done, and again, the toughest again was you said was it the Vermont Marathon?
Yes.
How about going up that hill?
Oh, heartbreak! Oh no, that was Boston. Yeah, the
you
hill.
Did Boston?
Yes, I did the Heartbreak Hill and the Boston Marathon, but yeah, going up the hill in Vermont City Marathon. The way I always envisioned was that, I have magnetic in my chest. I have a magnet in my chest, and I envision someone at the top of the hill holding a huge magnet. So that basically, that magnet that the person's holding on the top is pulling me up slowly to meet him. And I would just go by the beat of the drummers. One crank, one crank, one crank. I would keep on cranking up that hill
Mm-hmm.
and just imagine I have, a magnetic in my chest and someone's pulling me up.
Mm-hmm. That had to be tough, really tough. Have you done New York City?
I have not done New York City. No, I haven't.
It's fun, I can tell you that. A lot of hills, and I'll have to. I just took your hand cycle out yesterday, and I'm getting used to. I went from the ferry road on that the path.
Yep.
And there was some uphills, and I'm getting used to shifting. And I remember you told me when Tom, you better learn how to drive that after you saw what I looked like after that accident I had. But I'm right back on it again, just like you.
I'm so happy, Tom, that you're going to experience this. It's an amazing experience. It's like the biggest high ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just completing the marathon.
Yeah.
Now, it's not for time. It's
Right.
It's just that accomplishment that you've completed it, and I wish you the best of luck. Quickly, I was saying I forgot to mention, a special award.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, I got first team all-star. I got first team this and that, but I think the biggest thing that I ever received award was from the College of St. Rose. It was in the year 2000, and I got the ECAC Award of Valor. And the ECAC Award of Valor, I was the only one from our college to have gotten it. And it was an award that was established in 1985. And the award is for student athletes whose courage, motivation, and relentless determination serves as an inspiration to all. The Award of Valor exemplifies strength of a character and perseverance, deserving recognition as being truly triumphant. That award in 2000 is who I am. It's all about heart. It's all about character. And in the scheme of things, do people know how many assists you had, how many points you had in high school? You know what? That doesn't matter. What matters is playing the game of life, which we have many obstacles to overcome. And those are what I consider true obstacles. It's not about the past of playing sports and our goals and dreams, but when you can relate it and bring it into real life situations, this is what matters, is the game of life. It's not about the sports in the past. People have to learn the game of life because we all need to, because that makes us who we are and what people dream to be like or care and giving.
I really like the fact that you're staying in touch with your teammates. That is so nice, because they're going to be friends for life. And when you meet, same thing with me, with my teammates are still there, and it's so nice. I bet you guys have so much fun. And
and the teammates too. I'll tell you, from the College of St. Rose, the president of the College of St. Rose, President Sullivan, he actually wrote part of his book, a chapter, part of it about me, and he paid for the school to have Greyhound buses come from Albany with all of my teams and go all the way up to Burlington, Vermont, and to come visit me in the hospital during my darkest days. And my coach, Lori Darling, she still to this day will come stop by the house and see me and, bring me the College of St. Rose, their soccer gear to wear. And that college and those friends that I've met, I mean, even everyone laughs, and I tell them Jimmy Fallon and I and my friends, we used to go out together.
for real?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But, at that point, Jimmy wasn't who he is today. So, looking back, it's funny because you have pictures of your friends and pictures of him, and now look at him, who he is. And I mean, it's just amazing memories in college. And my best friend forever, Joanna Eisenhut. We will never lose touch. We go visit her, but there's been so much support through everyone and all the people, and I still stay in touch with so many because they were a part of my journey.
Who was your coach at St. Rose? You still
Lori Darling.
Oh yeah, you mentioned
she was.
that.
Yep, she was the coach at the College of St. Rose.
Okay, your high school coaches. You had excellent high school coaches too. Sam Campbell. I love Sam
Campbell, and I'll tell you one coach that I still stay in touch with a lot, and we call each other is Sharon Relation. That woman. Another class act of varsity soccer. I can tell you one funny quick story is we were practicing a drill, and coach said, Jillian, set up the half moon. Well, the half moon was we'd line up all around the box and we would just fire shots at net. Well, of course, going to a Catholic school, I said to her, yeah, coach, I'll set up the half moon. Well, yep, I did. I pulled down my pants and I mooned her, and I told her, here's the half moon. And I'll tell you, the look on her face was priceless. She told me, Jillian, you get running and don't you stop until I call for you. Well, I kept running, and I ran, and then I couldn't even hear her yell stop. So she had to have someone come out and run after me to flag me down. But it's just memories like that. It's just...
That's pretty funny, kind of.
But Sharon is just that one person that she knows my fire. She knows the inside fight. And I love her for that.
As a player, I always remember you as being real feisty, really feisty. And I had to keep an eye on you.
You sure did. It was just that, it's hard because when you play high school sports, sometimes you don't have the players with the same drive. They're more into other things, but they just do it, to keep in shape for the sport. And yes, there are some players that love it just as much as you, but that drive in my body and that feistiness, it was just, and it's funny because my senior quote from Seton, it's funny. It was, what matters is not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. That was my senior quote at Seton Catholic. And it's funny how, after all these years, I look back to that quote, and that's been so true for my whole life. It's like a full circle.
Seton, it's a wonderful school. Great coaches, great teachers. I'm sure you learned so much from going to school there. Have you thought about having your son go to Seton?
No. Connor does great with, a lot of his friends, and he has so many that he hangs out with. And, the one thing I find sad is that Seton now has classes of only 12 students in a graduating class. And I think it's great for some people.
Sure.
But when my husband and I looked at it for our son, he needed more of the diversity. And the more people in his class, and, it was good for him to see all areas of, people and life and differences. And so, PHS was a perfect fit for him.
Do you have any other things you want to say on there? Anything? You have a whole bunch of quotes there. Anything?
I think the one thing too, it's hard, when people ask me, who your, idol is, you look up to for an athlete. And, Tom, I really have a hard time with athletes today. It's not what it used to be. It's all about the money and how much they get paid and how many likes on TikTok. And it's really different from what I still see as a sport. And, it's just sports today aren't what they used to be.
Absolutely.
And I have a hard time, when they argue for pay and they're not getting enough to pay for pay and this and that. And I have a hard time, but, I'll tell you, Mia Hamm, she brought home she was a 2-time gold medalist, and she was on the national women's team, USA team, at the age of 15. And I
didn't know that.
And at that age, Mia realized she wasn't good. At 15, when seeing all the other players that they selected from all over, she realized that she was not good. And she knew that she had to work very hard to get where she wanted to be. And she did that. And she just continuously pushed, and to work. And
just like you.
And Mia said, one of her quotes is, you must flip on the light switch every day. And that is totally true. And she said a winner is a person that gets up one more time than she is knocked down.
I love that.
And so I consider her another person I look up to.
She's definitely one of the best. Of course, I have to bring up.
Okay. Hang on 1 second, okay?
Okay, hold on. Is it a question?
No, you're okay.
Okay. The fact that Mia Hamm and Akers and
Michelle Akers.
Yeah, that you know them and they're inspiration to you. That's pretty amazing, really is, and it's impressive. I have to ask you the question that maybe you don't want to answer, but Caitlin Clark or Paige Beckers? What's your opinion on that? Who's better?
I
And what do you think about Caitlin Clark?
I got to watch videos of her while she was growing up, Caitlin Clark.
Okay.
And she was one feisty little spitfire growing up. And, I liked her for that, but she also did, at younger years show frustration and show attitude and, put her hands up in the air. And because the people that she also played with, some of them weren't as serious or, as she was. If I had to pick one or the other, I think it would be, definitely Caitlin Clark. And she's just, I hear
Look
her.
what she's done.
She's done amazing things, but then you also see what, women's, the WNBA, how people have attacked her and how, I don't know. I don't like following it totally because I don't like to see that on any athlete. But once again, you're talking about players that people are paying $3,000 for a seat to sit in and watch her play a game. You're talking, she's got a lot of followers at 2.2 million or something on TikTok, and I don't know. It's not what it used to be.
I know. For my basketball camp, the past 2 years, the New York Liberty have given us tickets, free tickets. But going all the way to Brooklyn is tough for parents and the kids, but we would have some people that would go. And Brianna Stewart she's another inspiration. If you've read her book, she's had a tough life too. But we had our tickets were right behind the basket, and the kids loved it. And
that's awesome.
That they do this every year for my camp, and I think we had 12 that went this past year. So.
And Tom, that's great. You know what you do that's showing heart. That's showing dedication. You and your basketball that's funded, and you buying shoes for these kids, and that's where a dream starts. The dream starts young.
Mm-hmm.
Our dreams in life may change as we get older, but you're feeding these kids, the dream. You're allowing them to live that dream of theirs. And I think it's just amazing. Talk about heart of what you do for all these kids and the camp. And, Tom, it's just amazing. I just want to thank you for being so great with the kids in the community and running these camps and just going to all these places to play, some good ball. And it's just your dedication is definitely does not go unnoticed.
Yeah. I'm really not, and again, it's not about me, but I'd rather talk about you, but I'm not seeking accolades or fanfare or anything like that. But did you ever see the movie Varsity Blues? Do you ever watch that?
No.
There's a quote in there that I'll never forget, and it was the backup quarterback, and he got to play, and he had a great game, and he knocks on his girlfriend's window with a rock, wakes her up, and she says, "How does it feel to be a hero? I mean, you're so different now. Why do you have to act that way?" And his response was, "To be a hero for 2 days, there's nothing better. Who wouldn't want to be a hero for 2 days?" And I don't think I'm a hero, but it's nice to hear those things. But I love that quote that he gave, and it just if you ever have a chance to watch that movie, it's a great movie, and I'll never forget him saying that, and it kind of stuck with me. But I'm not seeking any accolades or fanfare. I just love seeing the kids smiling, and our staff is phenomenal, and our sponsors have been great. But our staff, a lot of NCCS girls, they crack me up too. They are so funny, and they know who they are, and the kids love them. And I've always been a trophy person, and just seeing the smiles on their faces when they come up and get their trophies, it just makes me happy. So,
and I don't, and like I said, what people think of me as my strength, determination, they consider me that quote unquote sometimes hero, but nothing changes. I'm like that every day.
Mm-hmm.
I am giving. I don't look for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just that one smile.
There you go.
If I can touch someone in life just once, and they can pass that on, one person can be millions of people. And this is who I am. This isn't not who I am. This is me all the time. It's the passion that other people have, and the smiles. The smiles is what heals my body.
Mm-hmm.
That's what keeps me living, is just seeing the smiles. Mm-hmm. That's why I am still living.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever done a triathlon? Have you ever tried one?
No, I really wanted to do the Ironman in Lake Placid.
Wow.
I really did, but sometimes you have to come to reality. I'm 95 pounds. I have malabsorption.
That would have been difficult for you.
Doing the swim, not being able to use my legs, kicking, then going on to the bike, getting out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
getting back into the water, then, doing a full marathon, I would still love to do it. But you would need to have a team that would be able to help you. And I would, but also I look at what I do have and what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I have just, like I said, my husband and my son and all these people. And if I was to put myself first and decide to push myself to that limit, then I'm only thinking about myself. And if something was to happen to me, then I was thinking about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it would be great, but at the same time, I'm a mother and I'm a wife now.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you live by the philosophy, I am third, God's first, family and friends are second, and you are third.
Yes.
And that's awesome. I try to live that way too, and I could tell you're the same way. If you have a chance, read my the thing about my mother on Facebook. It just kind of came out. I wasn't seeking any sympathy or anything, but I'm the youngest of 9 kids, and she was just one of the best, and I'm sure your mom is one of the best too, and she's proud of you.
Like they say, Tom, about moms, people ask, well, how can you be so rude?
Mm-hmm.
The days I was in the hospital, and even still some days I get agitated. And, they would say, oh, you're so mean to your mom and dad in the hospital. You're so mean to your husband. And you know what? And I thought about it. I'm like, why? Why? Why would I be so mean when I, in the hospital, not outside, but inside the hospital, I get the most angriest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because you hurt the ones you love. But
mm-hmm.
those ones that are real close to you, that give you unconditional love, will keep coming back.
Without a doubt.
And that's what my mom, my father, my husband, everyone has done, is they know that it's in their mind because I'm in the hospital, I'm struggling and I'm frustrated. But they keep on coming back. And I think that's with all my family and friends, is they'll never leave you. Mm-hmm. They'll always be there for you.
Do you know Jeff Holmes? Do you know Jeff at all? He's one of my better friends. The Ray Holmes is his father, who had...
I don't think I've met him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And he just said something. Jillian is flat out awesome, inspirational, and he wants your email. Do you want to give it, or it's up to you?
Yeah, he can have my email.
Okay. Do you want to say it?
Yep,
or?
It's Rudy, RUDYMECONI @yahoo.com.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are going to be want to get that email as well. Wow.
I tell people, if you want to ask me a question and you don't want to know truth, don't come to me. As everyone knows, I'm straight up front. I don't sugarcoat anything. Yes, like the big, joke is from my father is, Jill, tact and diplomacy, tact and diplomacy. And
mm-hmm.
I keep telling you, I said, this is just a lesson that I keep on learning. But, it's just, I am the person you see. What you see is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
If I wear sweats and a t-shirt, guess what? I wear sweats and a t-shirt. If you don't like me, bye. I mean, I am who I am. I don't change for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what makes me who I am.
Mm-hmm. Last week, my guest was Missy West. Do you know Missy at all?
Yes.
She was... You guys are about equal right now as far as inspirational, and she was awesome as well.
She was a great athlete, yes.
Yeah, and she's a motivational speaker now, and she kind of motivated me a little bit too, just like you're motivating me right now.
That's one thing I wanted, I was exploring of doing is actually motivational speaking about life and challenges and dreams and how life changes. I've always wanted, to go speak to schools or go to high schools when they're making that decision and just speak to them just about life in general and what you learn.
Sure. If I were you, I would touch base with Missy, see how she got into it. She's now going to Fortune 500 companies. She's going everywhere. She was very shy in high school.
Yes.
Very shy. She's not shy anymore. She just knows what exactly to say, and she believes in herself. And you're the same way. I think you would make a great motivational speaker. I really do. You should touch base with her, and maybe you could even be the backup band.
Or we can tag up and do a TED Talk.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, so you've been such a great guest, and one of the best. And any parting words that you would like to say before we head out? Anything you want to say hello to anyone?
Oh, hello to Connor, Duda, and Jonathan, who's probably still in bed sleeping. I guess to end this whole thing, it was thank you, Tom, for having me be part of this. And also, life is never too tough to get over anything. Yes, you may take one step forward and 4 steps back, but it doesn't matter. What matters is getting to the end. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to accomplish anything. No matter what, you can do what you put your mind to, and your heart will lead you.
I love
like
that.
I say, is I'm not handicapped. I'm handy-capable.
Wow.
I am abled. So thank you for having me on today, and I hope maybe I touched one person.
You definitely touched me. I'm sure you touched so many others that are listening. And for some reason, I think they're afraid to call in. But
maybe.
Your mom had that nice comment, and I know your mom. She's such a nice woman, too, and your dad, too. And I love that comment from your grandfather. I'm going to remember that one, too, and I'm going to use it at times. And just keep up the great work. Thank you again for the hand cycle, letting me use it. And if I have any questions on it, I did get the flag. The flag. I got the flag now. And
only one earbud in at a time.
I know.
Not two. You can't hear anyone behind you, Tom.
I already did that already.
Okay, thank you.
And I have to get a bigger helmet. And my friends, they bust on me a little bit because when I played in football, because I have such a big head, they had to order 3 times a helmet, and every one was too small. So finally, the guy came in and he said, "If this one doesn't fit, have them wear the box." That's what he said. So all my friends, they get on me about that. So I'm gonna have to find a helmet that fits my big head, and I'm going to. Any suggestions where I should go to get a helmet?
You can always go to
Viking or Maui?
Maui North, and see, Maggie himself, and I'm sure there'll be something to fit your big head, Tom. I'm sure it'll be okay, but we'd like you to be in one piece, and I'm so glad that I was able to, get back in touch with my hand cycle and let you be able to, train and race with it. And I'll tell you, You can lay flat on that thing,
I
and
like
you
it.
can crank it up to 60 miles an hour. And
I'm not going to go 60. I'm afraid right now to even do 20 until I get some confidence. So
slow and steady, Tom. That's what wins the race.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. I have to add this. When my daughter was born, and it was a C-section, and when I held her, the first thing I looked at was, oh no, she's got a big head like me. And I hope she's not listening, because she'll probably get mad at me. But I said, oh my gosh, please no. And she looked like me too, and I'm saying, I'm so ugly. And she turned into such an adorable person. She really did. So that's all. She goes to New Paltz right now.
Nice.
She's in the arts, and she a great singer, and she gets a lead part all the time.
Hey, maybe she could sing a song about us.
I would love that. I would love that. So, but she used to sing the national anthem at the games and stuff, and
It's awesome.
she's not afraid to do stuff like that. So I had to speak about her. So there we go. And thank you again, Jillian. One of the biggest inspirations that I've met, you and Missy, and thank you so much. And
Thank you, Tom.
can you take a 2-minute break so we can get a picture together?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
And you've been listening to the Tom Lacey Sports Hour here on Hometown Radio, WIRY.
At Facette Realty, our phones are ringing off the hook. Buyers are searching, but there's just not enough inventory. Are you thinking of selling your home? Now is the perfect time. List with one of our experienced agents and take advantage of the high demand. Our skilled team will help you get the best